Okay, Wisehubbers, let's talk, as I promised, just about those next steps. Now, next steps that need to be taken as a consequence of the ideas that you formulated. So these projects that we have, whether they are the maths problem, the projects that a good number of Wisehubbers have together, or it's the self-mastery project, or whether it is, I call it just the typing project of Desmond Bartman, or whether it's the parental involvement project of Ridwan down in the Cape, or whether it's that very creative communications project of Waldi Castor, or whether it is the let's call it the Deaf Federation or just DEFSA project that is under Odette's responsibility or mandate, or whether it's that very innovative cheerleading, which is so smartly called cheer learning project, or whether it is this other one, which is not life, sorry, but life after metric, one that comes from the engineers. Whichever project it is, or all of these represent certain ideas that you have. And that's fantastic. And those ideas are the ones that you have now worked on and you've gotten very, very close to finalizing that area that you would be talking about. Well, let's take the young people, Levi and Lydia Norton. They are talking about cheer learning. If I understood them correctly, they want to take sport and they want to show that this activity, maybe if I want to put it like this, leads to or demonstrates an opportunity for true character development. Don't want to put words in their mouths, but maybe that's what they're trying to say. They want to show that cheerleading and character development, you can put that together and you can call it cheer learning. Well, let's take Desmond Bartman's idea down in the Cape. Desmond was talking about introducing, and maybe he means reintroducing typing into the curriculum. Maybe he's saying that that in itself advances, is the word that I would probably use, advances the possibilities for learning. This can maybe be refined, but those are the things that I see are probably in his main idea. Now, once that main idea has been established, there are more questions. I'm going to just list some of the questions that in Terry's case he started asking, which represent now a set of more specific ponderings, if you wish, of what's necessary for these next steps. And he just sort of jumped right in And the first one question that he asked was, what, I know it was a how one, how could a descriptive paragraph of my idea read? What would be in there if I had to describe it in one paragraph? How would I go ahead and do that? Then he went on and asked questions about funding, and this is very helpful because it makes you think. It's looking ahead at 2016 to make this project of self-mastery a possibility. He's going to need resources. Remember, that's why we are pitching to these investors. So on this category of funding for the project, he started asking, what needs to be funded? Good question. What needs to be funded? You can ask the same thing. And you go further, and that's what Terry did. He asked, what would a monthly expenditure look like? What would it look like? I mean, what do we spend for January? What do we spend for February? What do we spend for March? And so on. He asked those questions, and a couple of things he included there I saw was like airtime, travel. He wanted to book a venue because he wanted to have a couple of face-to-face conferences with these teachers that he wants to impact. He wants to use Skype, and for Skype he has to have money for airtime or for data bundles. What will that cost? So he's got, what would be included? A venue needs to be booked. Was it once a month, twice a month? What will it cost? Catering, invitations that needs to be sent out. He asked another question: how would accountabilities be protected? Very important question. What do I evaluate? How do I evaluate? Even another one he asks, how can the outcomes of my project benefit Allen Glen High School? That's a good one, because now he starts making connections between the project and the overall goals or mission of the school, right? Then he had a couple of other, maybe general questions, but this was mainly targeted at investors. What kind of investors would be interested in my project? What are their backgrounds? That's a good one. And a practical question, how long do I pitch? And I think that this gives us a really good clue as to how Terence is thinking about making this project a reality. It's taking some of those practical next steps, and they're really good questions. So if we think of them just a little bit more specifically, we are forced to start thinking about describing things. We put things down on paper. You've got your idea, but if you have to write it down in more detail, you have to describe it in a sort of 5, 6, 7 sentence paragraph. What would that read like? And what do I need to fund? What is that monthly expenditure looking like? Accountability's got in there. What is it that is going to evaluate, and how does he do it? This one is really good because, as I mentioned, it connects to one or the other. Project sorry, is connected to the outcomes, maybe that way. What kind of investors, backgrounds, and so on. So those are good questions, and these are the questions that you need to start asking now. From a timeline point of view, I would say that by the middle of August, we should really have finished this set of questions. That's our first milestone. And because by the 31st of August, it is our hope that we would have found some investors for you to start pitching your ideas to. So, thanks for watching. I trust this was helpful to you.